may be asking yourself, Dan, why are you on a boat? And the simple answer is, today is the day of London Gaming Market. Let's go.
Pick up! Video game transfer! Rush trips! Live game hunting!
Hello again, folks, and welcome back to a very special episode as the stars have finally aligned and I've been able to go to the London Gaming Market. I've been trying to make my way there for absolutely years and it finally worked out and it was the best luck. It was the day after Money in the Bank. I was already in London. It was rude not to go to the London Gaming Market. So far in 2023, I've been to two other gaming markets. The Doncaster Gaming Market, which is the biggest gaming market in the UK, and a little closer to home at the Norwich Gaming Market. And as I said, this will be my first time at the London Gaming Market, but let me know in the comments down below, where else in the country do they have these amazing gaming markets? I really want to visit as many as I can. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe, because I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's head to London Gaming Market. Here we go then, not on the road to London Gaming Market, on the river to London Gaming Market. That's because this was the quickest way I could get across London to get to the London Gaming Market. And I'm super pumped for this one. I've heard nothing but good things, and this is the first time I've ever been. We did have early bird tickets, but arrived around 12 o'clock because... just because. And as soon as I got in, it was absolutely manic. Let's get stuck in. Like I said, it was absolute carnage, and I jumped into the first box I could get to, and it was these strategy guides. I know a lot of people don't collect strategy guides. I just absolutely love them. I just think they're such a throwback to kind of the early days of gaming, where you can just jump online and find the answer to any question. You had to buy the guide to find out. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know I'm trying to go for the complete PAL PlayStation 1 Platinum Collection in my series, the PlayStation Platinum Project. And I absolutely scored some amazing PlayStation 1 Platinum games here at the London Gaming Convention, but you will have to wait for the next episode of the PlayStation Platinum Project to see which games I picked up. But these are the best places to find these Platinum games at these conventions, but there are plenty more games looking to be found. I spoke recently about how I want to kind of increase the numbers of games I have in my NES collection, and I've kind of decided I think I'm going to really stick to the games I really want. There was a load of really cheap games here, but at the end of the day, would I rather have one really good game or four kind of lesser games? Nothing really I wanted to add to the collection here, so I did pass on these NES games this time. Whenever I go to a gaming market, I'm always looking for boxed SNES games. That's because this is the best place to find amazing games such as this one, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Eye of the Beholder. Now, I have never seen this game before. I think it's like £70 to £100. Unfortunately, I didn't pick it up as I don't really know a lot about it. Even though I'm a massive D&D fan, I did pass on it this time, but it's definitely a game I want to do a bit more research on. The gaming markets are just a fantastic place to pick up these boxed SNES games. They're getting harder and harder to find, especially in this kind of amazing condition, and the same can be said for Game Boy Advance games. And it seemed like a theme for the entire gaming market today. A lot of this old Nintendo Carboard was in amazing condition. Continuing on the theme, here we have some more box Nintendo goodness with some SNES and N64 games. I already have Ocarina of Time in my collection. I've been trying to find this game for ages, Super Soccer. I just want to get it in really good condition just for the hilarious fact it has Donald Trump on the cover. And here is a real throwback to my youth. I used to play this Terminator 2 arcade game in the arcade all of the time because I just love light gun games. So these two items definitely caught my eye. We have both the Menacer, complete and boxed for the Sega Mega Drive, and just next to it we have the Super Scope for the SNES. I think these are around the £50–60 mark, and to find these complete and in absolutely amazing box condition was a real find. I think if I wasn't having to carry these around all day, I'd have definitely picked them up. While I'm mainly looking for older retro games at these gaming markets, I will always go through the OG Xbox and even the Xbox 360, as you can find some kind of hidden bangers or some absolute bargains, or just find games which you've never ever seen before, like this wrestling game for the Xbox 360. I have no idea what this game is. I'm not really sure how to search it. I don't know even how to look it up. It was 40 quid and it's a wrestling game I've never seen before, but I have no idea if this is the correct value, if the game is any good, anything about it. So if you know anything about this game, comment down below. As a massive Resident Evil fan, here is a game I've been looking for absolutely ages, Resident Evil Deadly Silence. And this is a game you do not see very often, and it does demand a high price tag. It's a game I've never played. I don't know if it's even a very good Resident Evil game, but the completionist in me really wants this one for the collection, but not today. Absolutely stacks of Nintendo Carboard here and some really good SNES games. A couple of games here I've been looking for a very long while, but here's the thing with the gaming markets, you do need to stick to kind of your price you're looking to pay for these games. I don't really know the price of this Road to WrestleMania game for the Game Boy Advance. I think 12 quid is probably about right. I couldn't actually remember at the time if I already had a boxed copy of this. I know I have a couple of the Game Boy Advance Wrestling Games box, so I did pass this time. I've been looking for a copy of Killer Instinct for the SNES for absolute ages, but I'm holding out for a copy with a Killer Cut CD. On to the next stall, and I think a lot of people think that the Xbox 360 is super cheap to collect for the minute, which they would be correct, but there are certain games on the Xbox 360 that are starting to get really expensive. Games such as this game, Splatterhouse, and I kind of wish I'd picked this one up. 25 quid was a pretty good price. I think it's 28 in CX, and they are the kind of games I think are going to get very expensive very soon for the Xbox 360. Now, I'm not the biggest beat-em-up fan, but this is a game I love. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I've never played the Dreamcast version of this. I've only played it on the OG Xbox, but let me know, is this a definitive version of this absolutely amazing beat-em-up game?
Told you
What I love about gaming markets is finding games you never knew existed. Games like this, Dungeons and Dragons Iron and Blood. It's a D&D beat-em-up game. I never knew this existed, and it's games like this you only find at places like the Games Market. And, you know, primarily I was looking for PS1 Platinum games, but managed to find another game I've been looking for absolute ages, Warhammer Dark Omen. I'm a massive fan of these strategy type games. I love the Warhammer universe, and to be able to pick up that and also Warhammer Shadow of the Horned Rat in one place is an absolutely fantastic find. I know these come up in CX fairly often, but I grabbed them here. Next stall, and we had a box of loose NES games, and randomly most of the NES games I have in my collection are actually boxed rather than loose, and I have got a bit of a confession about one of the games in this box here. I play a lot of retro games. I have played a lot of retro games, but I've never played a Mega Man game. I was tempted to pick this one up, but let me know in the comments down below which should be the first Mega Man game I play. One thing to remember about these gaming markets, they are gaming markets, so it's not just all retro games. There's also games for the newer consoles. You can see here the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 4, even the Wii. And this is the thing, you never know what kind of gold you're going to find in these boxes, and you just got to get stuck in at the gaming market. At the end of the day, yes, it is busy. Yes, it is like people hustling and bustling around, but you just need to jump in and get involved. Like I was jumping into a couple of Dreamcast games here, because if I can ever find cheap green Dreamcast games in decent condition, I'll probably pick them up. A couple of interesting Xbox 360 bits in here. This Forza 2 Special Edition, £10 it was, quite tempting. I'm a massive fan of steelbooks, and I kind of regret leaving this next steelbook behind, as I have the collector's edition, but it is missing the steelbook, and that is the incredible Doom 2016. Here we have possibly my biggest regret of the London gaming market. There is a game here that I should have picked up. I ummed and ahed about it, and in the end I did put it back. It is Lilac Wars for the N64, and this is the smaller box version. I don't know why it says display box. I'm sure you see it all the time. The big box version is which comes with the Rumble Pack. I never see this copy. It was in really nice condition. It was only 30 quid, and I don't really know why I didn't pick this up. I kind of regretted. There was some really nice box N64 here, and yeah. When I say you need to get stuck in at a gaming market, you really need to get stuck in. Jumping under the table, going into these boxes to find that retro and modern gold. Games such as this, the King Kong for PlayStation 2, in the Steelbook is a really cool one. I did pass on that one, but you never know what you're going to find in these boxes down here. Like, I was there with PS2 Many Games, and there was definitely a lot of PS2 games in this box here, mainly kind of shovelware, mainly your cheaper titles, but you just got to check them. Now, if you didn't know, I'm also a retro toy collector, and here's something I wasn't expecting to find at this gaming market. Kind of these knockoff retro TMNT figures, and also these pretty awesome WCW figures. Now, I am quite selective with the wrestling figures I collect, so I did pass on these.
No, I know, but it's not got the cover on.
Real disappointed here. TMNT Tournament Fighters. It was complete in the box as such, but it had no cover art, just a cartridge and the instruction manual. That is a game I'm really looking for at the moment. Even though, of course, I have got it on the Cowabunga collection, I still want the original Mega Drive. So earlier in the video we saw a D&D game on the SNES, here we have one on the Mega Drive. Now, I want you to let me know in the comments down below, what is the best D&D game of all time and what console is it on? Moving on, here we have some old tape and disc based games. I do not have the greatest knowledge of these, I literally have to judge them by the cover. That Thundercats one was absolute fire, much like this Hero Quest game. I love the artwork on some of these old school games, it's just so cool. As I said earlier, I am a collector of all things Resident Evil, and I saw this at the corner of my eye and thought it was the lenticular cover for Resident Evil 7. I have been looking for that for absolute ages, so if you have the lenticular cover for Resident Evil 7, please get in touch. Recently, at the last Gaming Market in Norwich, I picked up the Addams Family on the SNES. Here we have it on the NES, but I did pass because I presume, probably correctly, that the SNES version is the better version. Here I thought it was a really old school Simpsons game, but it was one of the old school Simpsons VHS tapes. I used to have quite a few of these, which is the best way to watch the Simpsons back in the day. We had some cheaper kind of titles here. I always get this game confused, Story of 4 on the Mega Drive. I thought that was kind of an expensive game, but at £10 I guess I am just getting confused with another Mega Drive game. If you know what game I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure there's some 4 game on the Mega Drive which is super expensive. There's some really cheap titles here, and it just goes to show you can still collect retro on a budget. Here's something I don't really pick up very often, but I think I may start picking these up because they're fairly cheap most of the time. These OG Game Boy games CIB. And some of the artwork on these is amazing. Like, this was one of the first games I ever got with my Game Boy, this 5-in-1 game. Yes, the 5 games were pretty terrible, but don't forget it was the late 80s. There were some absolute bangers on here, including, again, Resident Evil Deadly Silence. You may be wondering why this copy is only £45. That's because it is the NTSC copy, which is a little easier to find. Really good selection of games on this next store here. As you can see, loads more loose NES games, and unfortunately nothing really to write home about until I caught something out of the corner of my eye just at the top of the screen here. Now, if you didn't know, I'm quite an avid collector for the Mega CD, but it is a right pain to find Mega CD games. So if I ever find a game for like a decent price like this one here, £12, I'm going to pick it up. Yes, it's World Cup USA, but how often do you see it? When it comes to the real heavy hitter games at any gaming market, they're normally hidden behind the scenes. And if you want to pause the video here, feel free, because there's some absolute bangers on this stand back here. Like, too many to mention, but these are the cream of the crop, the top tier games, the games that everyone wants, but not everyone can afford. And a lot of the stalls do this. They have their best stuff at the back, and some of the stuff here, it commands a very high price, but I'm more looking for the rarities, the weird stuff like this. CIB, Atari Jaguar games. Like, when was the last time you saw a boxed Atari Jaguar game? It's just one of those things you just don't see very often. And one of the things I absolutely love about these gaming markets is just places where you find games you don't find all the time. Like, I would have picked this Crash Dummies game up for the Mega Drive in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, it was missing the manual, which was a real shame, as the Crash Test Dummies were one of my favourite toys when I was younger growing up. I just loved the fact it was actually a toy that was designed to be destroyed. I love collector's editions and I love the WWE, and this being the day after Money in the Bank, it just felt right to pick up this 2K20 SmackDown 20-year edition for the Xbox One. And this thing has some super cool contents and is definitely worth the £35 price tag. I just wish they did more collector's editions for these WWE games. This one is one of the last ones. I don't think they released anything special for 22, but if it did, let me know. The next stall was ran by YouTube royalty Ed Hunt. I have been watching his videos for absolute years, and it was a real pleasure to meet him here at London Gaming Market. He had some really cool stuff for sale. Sadly, nothing I needed for the collection this time, but it was just really cool to finally meet him in the flesh. He's really down to earth. He's really cool. He really loves what he's doing. He was so pleased to be there, and it's just so good to see that kind of love for retro game collecting and selling, because, you know, a lot of us love to buy, but not many people love to sell, and Ed was just having an absolutely fantastic time. He was absolutely in his element. He said he'd had a fantastic day. Everyone there was just having an absolutely incredible time. It was just a great day. Moving on, and we have some more box SNES games here, including quite possibly my most wanted game, Turtles in Time for the SNES, but this one commands a high price tag, as you can see. That is a heavy hitter, but I think when I finally pull the trigger, that is probably going to be the most expensive game in my collection. Speaking of expensive games, whilst I really enjoy collecting for the Mega CD, it is super expensive. Even like games that are normally quite common on other systems just command a much higher price tag on a Mega CD. Games like Tomcat Alley you can get for quite cheap, but the problem is I've picked up a lot of these cheaper games now for the Mega CD already, and that goes without saying I haven't actually even picked up a physical console yet to play these games on, but who knows, I will pick one up soon. It's just knowing when. I forget the name of the store, but have you ever seen this many SNES games boxed and complete in the same place? And games I've never seen before, like The Mask. I have no idea if it's good, but it's 125 quid. This is a game I've been looking for a while. Alien Free, not too expensive, but here's the thing, a lot of these SNES games now are getting very expensive, but it kind of begs the question, do you buy it now or wait, because they're only going to get more and more expensive. This store had a really good selection of games, literally something for everyone. We've got PS2, Xbox, even some more Mega CD games. Again though, these were pretty pricey. Some of these are games I've really been looking for a long while. It's just knowing when to kind of bite the bullet and actually pay for them. Some really nice SNES games again, including this really nice copy of Donkey Kong Free for a very high price yet again. And another Killer Instinct, but sadly again no Killer Cut CD. It's only about a £30 to £40 game, but if I'm getting it, I want it with a CD. Without a doubt, this is one of the most iconic games of the NES. Turtles, indeed yes. I was actually talking about this game, Probotector. This is actually what Contra was released as in the UK. So in America and other regions you got Contra, over here we got this. It is really expensive, but I just love the artwork on some of these NES games. It just looks so cool. I have already got WrestleMania in my collection, but again, this is expensive Nintendo Carboard. So that was the London gaming market, my first time, and it was absolutely incredible. I'll definitely be coming back again. I did pick up some pretty awesome bits for the collection, not what I was expecting. I was expecting to definitely come away with more Nintendo Carboard, but this is the thing about the gaming markets, you never know what you're going to find or what you're going to come away with. One last thing before we head back to the games room, have you ever seen this before? The Sony Bravia PlayStation 2 TV. That's right, a TV with a PS2 built in. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. Let's take it back. Here we are then, back in the games room from London Gaming Market, and the entire day was an absolute pleasure. There was so much cool stuff to see, cool people to meet, and it was really cool to meet loads of viewers of the channel. I did manage to get some amazing pickups for the collection as well, and it wasn't really what I was expecting to pick up this time, which is what I love about these gaming markets. You just never know what you're going to find. Of course, while I was at the London Gaming Market, I was on the lookout for PlayStation Platinum games for my PlayStation Platinum project. And, spoiler alert, I absolutely scored. I found some incredible titles to cross off that list of 160 games I'm trying to add to my collection over 2023. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to pick up some Black Label PS1 games, and that is exactly what we have here. So the first game is a game my wife picked up, Addy Boo and Paziral's Secret. Now, I have no idea what this is, but she was super excited to pick this up, and at the end of the day, I think that's what it's all about with these retro games. Games just hold nostalgia for you, games with good childhood memories. It's games like this you can't really put a price on. It was £8. One thing I love about these gaming markets is they are the perfect place to find games you never knew existed. Games like this, Dungeons & Dragons Iron and Blood. This is a PS1 game I have never ever seen before. It's essentially like Mortal Kombat but with D&D characters, which sounds absolutely incredible. I haven't got around to checking this one out yet, but just by the premise alone, it sounds super cool. Finally on the PlayStation 1 we have two games which I've been looking for absolutely ages. Now these aren't exactly super rare, but it's just finding them in good condition at a good price and complete. And the first game is Warhammer Shadow of the Horned Rat. Now I'm a massive fan of these kind of real-time strategy games. I absolutely loved playing Command & Conquer on the PlayStation 1. I know it's primarily a PC game, but I think it played really well on the PS1. I'm a big fan of Warhammer. I kind of prefer 40k to the OG, but for £8 I was really happy to pick up this game, as well as Warhammer Dark Omen, another kind of RTS game for the PlayStation 1. It's actually surprising how many decent real-time strategy games there actually is on the PS1, but let me know which of these two Warhammer games is the best strategy game on the PS1. For some reason I've decided to try and buy Mega CD games. I must be an absolute glutton for punishment, and these gaming markets are a fantastic place to pick these up, as even though a lot of these are sold by CX, it's very rare they actually come in stock. Now this one is actually available at the moment on CX. There's literally one copy available in the entire world. It is World Cup USA 94, and the eagle-eyed among you might actually realise this has been repackaged in a PS1 case, but at the end of the day it's the exact same casing. This one may not be complete, but I've actually picked this up for £10, which is £2 cheaper than the CX price, but at the end of the day just getting your hands on these Mega CD games is hard enough. When it comes to our final pickup this time, I believe it was fate that I found this on today of all days. The day after I've been to both SmackDown and Money in the Bank, I picked up this, the WWE 2K20 SmackDown 20th Anniversary Edition. I'm a massive fan of all wrestling games. I'm aiming for a complete WWE and WWF wrestling game collection, and these collector's editions are getting harder and harder to find, and this one especially has some amazing contents. Let's get into this one then, and from the outside you can tell this is a real labour of love. This is a really nice packaging. If I take this slip cover off, it has some absolutely iconic scenes from the past 20 years of SmackDown, but the real exciting stuff is what lies within this box. As I said, this does come with a copy of the game, but it doesn't come with the artwork. Like, I actually had to check this online. It doesn't actually come with the outer artwork for this game, which is a little bit of luck. I do have a copy up here, but I just find that really weird for a collector's edition to not have a sleeve for the actual game. Here we have the first of two absolutely incredible collector's items included inside this collector's edition, and these are kind of really cool, authentic wrestling merchandise. This is an actual piece of the ring skirt from SmackDown. You can see there, just a tiny piece, and it's presented really nicely. There's 30,000 pieces of this ring, and now I own a piece of wrestling history. The coup de grace of this collector's edition is you get a signed commemorative plaque from a WWE superstar. The problem is it's one of three. It's either Kurt Angle, Edge, or Rey Mysterio, and the only way to tell is to open this up. I would pretend I haven't looked, but as soon as I got on the train back from London, I had to see which one I had, and I think I got the best of the three. I have the Rated R Superstar. This autographed plaque is absolutely cool, and even better is from when he cashed in his Money in the Bank. With the release of WWE 2K22 this year, there was no collector's edition. I just hope this was a one-off. Even though WWE 2K20 was a disaster, the collector's edition is super cool, and I really hope they go back to making these collector's editions, and I really hope I can add more to my collection. There we have it then, folks. That was the London gaming market, and after all these years of wanting to go, it was not a disappointment. It was absolutely fantastic. But if you want even more content from the London gaming market, fear not, there is an episode coming very soon of the PlayStation Platinum project, and like I said earlier in this video, I scored really well, so stay tuned for that one. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you all soon.